2, 3. What the heck is up, 360 booth operator? Today's an interesting one-on-one. We have Joshua representing Texas. Yeah, that's right, Texas, baby. Texas has a lot of 360 booth activity right now, and there is going to be a good amount of competition. So if you are a 360 booth operator out in Texas, watch this video. This is a one-on-one with Joshua. We're going over the strategies of how do I start off my 360 booth business. So Joshua had a great amount of questions, and those questions were answered. Enjoy the video, watch the entirety of it, because you don't want to miss out on important details, guys. Here we go. You and I both know how important it is to have a website for any business.
Yep. Your digital presence is one of the most important things for a business, I think, in this day and age.
Absolutely, man. So you are a website designer, and
Yes.
you're going to start a 360 booth business. Am I correct?
Yeah. So I actually graduated with a degree in graphic design. So I know how to build a brand. I know how to, create the messaging, and know how to make the website. The only thing I'm missing is the service or the product. And so I don't have too much business experience. The only thing I've done, like I said, was I had an agency before. So I know that kind of service, but something like this, it feels very like manageable. It feels like, it's a consistent, as long as you get into a rhythm, like something consistent, I can be out on the weekends going to events, in Austin, Dallas, Houston, wherever. And it sounds like it's something that I can grow and scale over time. So I can, hire a few friends and just kind of have them help me grow this business. So that's really where I want to be.
That's definitely a possibility, especially given your background and the set of skills you've already acquired throughout, your career. So that's awesome. So as far as a 360 booth business, where are you at right now exactly?
So I've been thinking about photo booths in general. I had a few ideas on, doing just different kinds of photo booths, but this one is the most unique in my opinion. So just yesterday, I decided I'm going to go ahead and just be serious about, making this business happen. And so I've just done some research, and I talked to your person over there at Alibaba. Who was it?
Yeah, I have a
Cindy.
few suppliers that so Cindy's one of them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just kind of getting a bit of a budget going. I want to be able to know what I can expect as far as expenses, and then like what makes a good experience. How can I make that experience good for any one of my clients? I think online, all the booking stuff, I can take care of all that. But what I'm really concerned with is like, how can I make sure that, they're having a good time, that the photos are going to look good. And so I've just kind of been watching a lot of your content. So you have so many things that I can look at. I'm just spending a lot of time doing that. I thought it'd be great if I could just connect with you and talk to you about maybe like, a few tips you have in like starting out, budgeting, what kind of expenses I could look forward to, and then how I can make the most out of my experience for the first time. Not my experience, but like my guest experience, the first time, and then just kind of improving from there.
Yeah, man, it's really cool that you bring that up, because right here on my table, I have my very, very first check here. Let me go ahead and show it to you. I don't think you'll be able to see it. So this is my very, very first check, my paid event. I
Nice.
accepted the check, man. One, because I was anxious to get out there and do my first event. And two, I told them as long as it's a company check, I'll accept it. So this is, a company check. And this was a 2-hour event, and this check reads $479. So, your boy was had promos going.
Yeah.
I had promos going. So I wanted to get out there and do my thing. So we'll go ahead and start off with budget.
Yeah.
I did not exceed $3,000 with equipment and the 360 booth itself, along with the Wix website. So everything was under $3,000. And this includes the stanchions that I bought on OfferUp. I think the stanchions, the 360 booth, and if whatever you're going to use to record your sessions, I already had an iPhone 12 mini that I owned. So I ended up using the iPhone 12 mini to record my footage. And if you look at my very first events, they look as great as far as the quality goes than now. Fast forward to today, where I'm using my iPhone standard 13. And I always throw the word standard in there because folks think, okay, I got to go get the 13 Pro Max, or I got to go get the 13 Pro. And quite honestly, I'm an iPhone repair technician as well. So I can tell you that the stabilizer on the 13 series is kick-ass. You don't need to get a 13 12 Pro Max with like 1,000 million gigs. You don't have to. If you tell yourself, okay, I can do it with an iPhone 12, 12 mini, 13 series, whatever. A lot of folks have a different budget. For me, I always tell them, work with what you got, but really optimize what you currently have.
Yeah.
All right. So that's going to be the next high ticket priced item is whatever you're going to use to record these actual sessions. Joshua, what kind of device are you currently using?
I have an iPhone 10 personally. So yeah.
Yeah. So what I would say is what you can do, Joshua, just to kind of save you some money is whatever carrier you currently have. I'm sure by now you're eligible for what's called an upgrade.
Yeah.
And it's not truly an upgrade. It's more like, hey, we're going to give you $400 for your phone, and your payment on this phone that you're going to finance is going to be 20 something dollars a month, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Maybe instead of buying a secondary line, maybe just upgrade your current line. But going back to the equipment and the budget, Joshua. So that's what I'm using right now is a standard iPhone 13, and I do still have the iPhone 12 mini. And what I'm starting to do, Joshua, is I'll take my iPhone 12 mini and I'll take my 13, and I'll set up 2 events now per client on TouchPix. The reason I'm doing that is I'll choose an overlay that's the vertical one, the one that you probably see a lot more. And then what I started doing with the 12 mini is I'll do landscape mode as well on that phone. So what happens is because I have cold sparks, I have the fog machines, and I have the strobe lights and stuff like that. I've noticed that when I use the landscape, the wide view, it really captures a lot of the background. So let me see. I don't know if
So you take both phones, you put both phones on your 360.
not simultaneously.
Okay.
I'll have both phones active as far as the event is active on both devices. And because TouchPix allows you to, so for example, you have a secondary booth and you have an employee, you guys can use the same TouchPix account at the same time for different events. So what I'll do is, and I want to just give you a very fast visual here. So I think this is one of them. Okay, now you can see my screen, right, Josh?
Yep.
All right, so check this out. So this is doing a wide. So you can see, so you capture so much of that background.
Nice. Yeah.
So I usually stick to the vertical. The reason I stick to the vertical is because people actually enjoy when you update this, upload this. I'm sorry, to your whatever application.
Yeah.
This is just basically like, as far as real estate on the screen goes, this is the best way, and this is template number 5.
Nice.
But like I said, I'm starting to like to really switch it up and offer them, both types of templates. But
Okay.
let's go back, because sometimes I dive into this deep, brother, and I digress from the original question, but I like circling back. I just kind of get lost in the world of 360 booth business conversation.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's really it's good fidelity that you have like a sense of everything in your business, because I think that's really what makes us successful.
Yes. So that's going to be, as far as the budget, it shouldn't exceed $3,000. Even if you go with the 100 centimeter booth, the one that actually holds up to 4 to 5 people, just depending on their weight. What booth are you thinking of going with as far as size goes, Josh?
I'm thinking about, yeah, the 100 centimeters.
100 centimeter. And make sure you ask the supplier if they can include the zip protective case
With a dolly.
with the dolly, or forget about that dolly, because eventually what you're really going to need is a wagon like the one I've been sharing on my last few videos. I've been really giving that wagon spotlight because I'm still rolling solo, man. I'm still going to these events out by myself, primarily by myself. And so that wagon is basically like your right hand man in a sense.
Gotcha.
So, and then a lot of folks go with the flight case when they order their booth, and that flight case, Joshua, is crazy bulky and heavy, man. So,
yeah, I noticed. I think I watched one of your videos, and you said that you didn't end up thinking that you wanted it at the end of the day, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to get it, that's great. But I'm just gonna give you my feedback, and then you just run with whatever you decide to do. That's cool. Okay. So we talked about the budget, and now as far as equipment, like I said, the biggest ticket items are gonna be the booth itself and whatever you're gonna use to record your sessions. I'm sure you already have a laptop. That's your web designer, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's like I said, it should not exceed the 3,000. You shouldn't have to run ads as well, because what I did in the beginning when I set that budget for myself is I even had a little space, a little money on the side, budget set up for like just in case I wanted to run ads. And then you're gonna have to buy some props. but everything remained under 3 grand. And what's crazy and cool about your situation is that you don't really need to pay any freelancers for any of your SEO, for any of your web design, graphics, any of that setup. You can do it all in-house and really personalize it to kind of really shout out your name, your brand. So that's going to be awesome that you have that skill under your belt. You
I'm
can't
excited.
lose with that skill, man. That's super sweet, dude. Like
Appreciate that, man.
I'm
Yeah.
excited. From everyone that I interviewed, they come from a different background. Some are in the medical field, some people are in the industrial, but you are in the web design, you know. So it's going to be interesting how your story unfolds. And I always tell folks, why not share your journey, because your story, your business is going to be unique, and the struggles and the victories are all going to be very much the same. However, sometimes there'll be certain things that really stand out that were different. And I think those are the things that we can learn to appreciate, because everyone comes from a different background, from a different set of skills, and also have competition within their area that has it's either going to push you to be more creative and do something different, or and I was having a really passionate video yesterday where I told people, if you guys think that your Instagram is going to carry the weight of your 360 booth business, it's not going to happen that way. You guys have to do a lot more for your business. So
Yep.
so for the budget, that's what I would say, Joshua. You shouldn't be spending more than 3 grand, man.
Okay, so I'm looking at we're talking about the booth, right? This, you said stanchions.
Mhm.
An iPhone 13, I think I'm qualified for an upgrade. I mean, it's been years.
Yeah.
And then an iPhone 12, that's something that you said that you currently do landscape and portrait.
Yeah, so you can actually, so the reason I having that extra device as backup, and the reason I'm using it now, it's because I was actually just using that phone just to kind of capture outside footage from the actual event. So I had
Yeah.
one phone on the arm, and I had my other phone recording bits and pieces of the event, which I can later use to edit and then use as marketing material if I needed to, which I think we all should do.
Yeah,
And then
that's
I had
smart.
my personal phone, which is an old phone, brother. It's iPhone SE second generation 2020. So that's my other phone.
Okay.
And if you decide to upgrade, I think nowadays getting the 12 doesn't make any sense, because I think the 12 and the 13, there's like maybe a $100 difference.
Mhm.
So you're better off going off with the 13 series. And
Okay.
so the template number 5 is the most popular one.
What's that?
Template number 5 on TouchPix. So,
Oh, okay.
so when you go on TouchPix, there's 5 different templates. The most popular one is template number 5. Ever since I started shooting with template number 5 and I was putting my content out there, I started getting feedback from the world, and everyone was asking me what template I was using. And now when I see videos, I realize like now everyone is starting to use template number 5. So that's great, because it actually, the vertical type of frame you're getting, it allows for a lot of the body to come out as well. So
Okay, so touch picks, you recommend starting like getting touch picks from the get-go? Like that's something that,
today I'm going to say yes. The reason I'm still saying yes to TouchPix is because I haven't really uh, dived into another app that I can honestly say, okay, I did it and I've spent hours on this app, and this is what I recommend now. These are the pros and cons. I've been so busy. I've been just rolling with TouchPix, even though TouchPix, and I think many of individuals watching this video can say it's had its glitches, its setbacks, and that's just, it is what it is. We have to roll with the punches. However, as 360 booth owners, it's great to have alternatives. It's always great to have a secondary, third option. And there are other apps out there. I just have not had the chance to really explore those apps. One of them is Luma Booth. That one I have here on my list. I'm going to be exploring that app this upcoming week, just because there's so many things that have been happening leading to the event I have tomorrow.
Mhm.
It just, it's just, I'm just, man, it's tough, but I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to Luma Booth, and then I'm going to explore other apps, and then I'm going to provide everyone with my comparison, you know,
Cool.
because quite honestly, TouchPix, it's a premium price we're paying. And if they were working and functioning great all the time, then it would probably be worth it. But quite honestly, I think it's just $50 a week just to start off as a brand new business owner. It really cuts into your profit margin.
Okay. Um, and then I know you have extras like flares and lights and like money guns. So what do you think, like from the get-go, that's something that somebody,
Yeah,
would need to start? Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes to you, Joshua, and yes to you individually because you are out in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And in Texas, right now, there's a lot of shops setting up in Texas,
Yep.
and I know the population is like well over 7 million in Texas, and it's heavily populated. So the reason I'm saying yes to you, Joshua, as an individual, is because I would like for you to jump in and stand out immediately
Yeah.
versus jumping in and offering great graphics, pictures, but the packages is very much the same as your competitor. So your prices kind of have to be right there and like at a happy medium, right? But
Yeah.
if you bring in some extra cool effects that are only going to run you like an extra few $100s, then I think jumping in to that industry with those products, providing that type of production, that right away sets you apart from the competition. And if I was in your shoes, that's the way that I would jump in. I would jump in with at least one cold sparkle machine, because keep in mind, Joshua, when I went through a situation when I bought cold sparkle machines and one failed, so I was rolling with one cold sparkle machine. But even with, and here, I'll give you a visual. Give me 1 second, okay? I'm gonna share my screen here. And this is for everyone that's watching this video here with Josh and myself. I want to show you guys that you can do a lot with at least just one cold sparkle machine. So right here in this video that I was showing you earlier, right here in this video, I was rolling with one cold spark machine. And this is not the right video to show you because it's not playing in the background, but so one cold, you see that in the background?
Yeah.
That's one cold spark machine, Joshua. So
Wow.
if you can at least buy one cold spark machine and combine that with the fog machine, the fog goes in front of the light, and the light that lights up in back of the fog causes the fog to look like there's thunder in the background. And
Yeah,
you,
that's
you can
cool.
do that with like a $60 fog machine, and you can get the, let me go ahead and get back to the bigger screen here. And you can get the cold spark machine for, I can go on Alibaba and tell you exactly how much I paid. I have a vendor for that cold spark machine. Her name is Lucy.
Okay.
I was sitting on their cold spark machines for, I want to say, over 3 weeks. And I told the community that I wasn't going to share that information just yet until I felt like these machines were reliable. And so it took me like about 3 events to say, you know what, these are easy to operate. And I haven't had any issues, no hiccups with them. So that's when I told Lucy, okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my link, share your link with my community. And I, expect you guys to take care of them and offer them that same warranty and so on and so forth. And so I think you can pay. Let me see if I can access Alibaba right now, just to give you an exact. It's not this one here. Go ahead and ask me questions while I'm looking up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you gonna share that link with
That link is on the is on
it
my
is
YouTube channel already.
cool.
Yeah. So let me actually show you that here. So let me go back to our. Where are you? Yeah. We'll go to share screen right there. Cool. Go ahead and close this. I trade stocks here and there. I'm just trying to get rid of this. Okay. You can see my screen. Am I right, Joshua?
Yeah. The old Wix bookings.
So just go to YouTube, and then if you're not subscribed yet, it probably won't pop up right away. But if you put in 360 booth, and I think maybe we put cold spark machines, maybe I'm ranking under that key. Yeah, so I'm at the very top.
Cool.
So this year I kind of give you a breakdown of what the 360 booth production and how I included the cold spark machines. And then if you click on the video in the description, go really quick here. It is Lucy right here, and then the link's right there.
Okay.
So like I said, man, if your budget is somewhat tight or you're getting close to hitting your budget mark, one cold sparkle machine should suffice.
Okay. Cool. So budget wise, I'm under 3K getting started. I guess that's just kind of like where I'm stuck. It's like, okay, cool. I'm gonna order everything. It's all gonna come in. I
Okay.
already know, like how to go about doing the website and
Okay.
getting that going. But then social is the one thing that like I'm not too familiar with. Like I've always had somebody else handle social media.
Okay.
So what do you recommend for starting maybe on social or like, I don't know.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah,
So
just
I'm
what you
actually
prefer.
glad that we get to revisit this conversation because my answers, it would have been a little different. And just because now there's experience, right? And everything continuously shifts. There's just things that stand out to me a lot more than they did, let's say 2 months ago. So barely starting off, how do I get my name out there? How do I get my services out there in front of hundreds so that I can start getting calls? And with those calls, maybe come bookings. And with those bookings, we get that revenue coming in. And then we can even buy that second Cold Spark machine and start really pushing our brand and really taking on a bigger piece of the pie here in your demographics out in Texas. Is it Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas,
Waco, Texas.
Waco?
Yeah. So it's like right in the middle of Austin and Dallas, or Austin and Dallas.
Okay. So the first thing you want to do is when you start posting videos and pictures on your Instagram, on your TikTok, on your Facebook, on your YouTube, you always want to put the hashtag. Here, let's go ahead and
Oh, hashtag of the three
hashtag of
surrounding cities.
yeah, that's how to really get started. A lot of folks want to put the hashtag of the entire state, and it's like slow down. Like you really have to rank for like within your radius first, because Google will see that Joshua had an event here, and this client left them a review right here. And when the client logs into their Google and gives you that review, Google sets that as a data point and a map point, and it shows a 5-star Google review, and that reflects on your business. So every time someone leaves a review, of course, you got to remind them to put in those keywords: 360 photo booth or 360 video booth, and then the city that you're in. That's going to give you a lot of eyeballs on your website right away. As a web designer, have you heard of a software called Local Falcon, Joshua?
Local Falcon?
Yeah.
No.
So it's a Local Falcon. I had two SEOs go over my website not too long ago, and they use a tool called Local Falcon. I've heard of it in the past. I never really dived into it and really explored it. But the
Mhm.
way it breaks it down, it shows you where you're at, where your business is located. Yeah, I can show you a very quick visual.
But you're saying social media is kind of like the way you get started with getting your name out there, right? Like you're posting with hashtags.
So
Are you like,
the social media is too saturated with keywords for that same type of service. So you have to take a different approach, and it's a combination of ways that you are communicating with not just like your digital presence, but also getting familiar with some of the vendors, event planners, wedding companies like that sell wedding dresses in your neighborhood, in your local area, and you have to incentivize it. So for example, like say there's bridal shops within a certain mile radius from where you reside. You can tell them about your services, and you can tell them like the thing too, Joshua, is we're in a recession. So every business is trying to supplement their income somehow, some way, doing something out of the ordinary. And so what you can do is you can reach out to club promoters, you can reach out to event planners, photographers. People, believe it or not, man, there's tons of photographers that uh, don't have a 360 booth, and that's because a lot of them think that in order to get a 360 booth, they're going to be spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and they just don't want to really scale their business and bring in that. They don't want to commit to that mission right now. Little do they know you can really start for under $3,000. But you want to reach out to those photographers and let them know and introduce yourself. So basically, what you're doing is you have to network too.
okay.
So yes, social media is great because you post it, and it runs 24/7 for you. There, it's done. But if you start making calls and getting familiar with some of your competitors, and also some of the people that are in the same industry as you, to represent your brand, and in exchange you give them some type of incentive like a commissions, that's going to work as well. And also go into your educational sector, and let because they always have parties for the students, they always have events going on. So you basically want to get on vendors list, whether it's in the educational sector, different departments within your county, and just really put your name out there, because the basic Joe is going to just order a 360 booth and just try to post as much as possible on TikTok and Instagram, and that's it. And that's because a lot of these newer operators, they're a younger generation, and they don't like picking up the phone, and they don't like talking to people. You know, it's just it's not their fault neither, because it's something that, like, this is what I mean by, like, a shift is continuously happening. And so some of us have become antisocial, and it's sad, you know, especially for our younger generation. That's a whole different conversation though. So that's what I would do, is take an approach where it's a combination of things.
Yeah.
As soon as you can, when you get your Google business page set up, do this here. Did you get a chance to watch yesterday's video?
Which one was it?
The one where it was just kind of tough love, and I was reviewing one of the new operators' new website.
Yes.
Yeah, so just want to touch up on this really quick here. I don't know if you want to do this yourself. It would save you a lot of your time if you just hired someone to do this right here, the Google Maps
Yes.
citations.
I took note of that. I was like, yeah, that sounds really useful.
Yeah, so definitely do this when you set up your Google business. Is take advantage of this, and maybe a few of these. So Google My Business Listing, local SEO, and maybe like 300. But make sure these these guys that you're hiring, make sure they're going to be live in the USA, because if they're international, it doesn't really do you it doesn't give you much of an advantage or benefit if it's not within the USA, and if they're not going to go live. And also, you want to ask these freelancers, if I hire you for your service and you give me 300 live citations, how long is it going to take for those citations to go live? They don't go live within 24 hours. So that's one question you want to ask them. But definitely the Google Map citations ranking GMB, please take advantage of these services. And like I said, I spent less than $20 doing this. And
yeah, so that was your, do you think that was your best one, the super citation?
oh, definitely. And then also what's helped a lot immensely is on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure you've seen this, every video that you put out on YouTube, whether it's 60 seconds long, 30 seconds long, 2 minutes long, all of your information, all of your social media handles, especially your website, they need to go on to your description no matter what, because that's going to act as a backlink, and YouTube and Google, like I said, they're associated. Gotcha. So the best practice for that one, Joshua, is when you're setting up your YouTube channel and you go into the upload defaults section, just plug all that information in. So every time you upload a video, it's automatically in that description box for you already. That's going to save you a ton of time throughout the year.
Super helpful. Thank you.
And what you want to do too is, for example, like when you are, let me go back to sharing my screen here. I want to show you something. And I can only use myself as an example because I don't know what other operators are really applying what I'm putting down. And so let's see here. I'm going to go to videos. I'm going to go to. Okay. So this is the same exact video, a different title. So different keywords as well. So 360 photo booth Redlands. I'm trying to really gain more presence and dominance in the city of Redlands, which is a few miles away from me. But there's already an existing business that's been around for a few years, and so they're eating up most of the you know, the potential bookings out in the city, Redlands, right? And then there's San Bernardino. What's interesting is you can see that since I have more of a presence in San Bernardino, this video that was posted the same exact day has 220 views, and this one has 159. And so every week when I do an event, I'll come back home, I'll send the client the link to their gallery. And if I'm not too tired, I'll start working on marketing and editing videos, and then posting them on Google and posting them on YouTube. Those are my top two, Google and YouTube. What's up?
Yeah. Okay. So I guess that's where my next question is. So cool. We're getting started. We've made a booking. They booked online.
Okay.
Great. Going to the actual event, what can I expect? Transportation, setting up,
Sure.
just like a
Ab-
walkthrough of like what it
Absolutely.
would be. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually a really good question because your first event could be end up being a wedding, and or it could end up being simple as a 16-year-old's birthday party or a quinceañera.
Yeah.
So the dynamics are a little different. Uh, so so this is the approach you want to take. So you get booked, and say you already got booked, and your booking's coming up this Saturday.
Mhm.
By now, you should have everything compartmentalized for your production system. So you should have a box that holds all of your props. That's one container. You should have a second container that holds all your electronics and your cables. And then everything else, the bigger items, you just load them up. And the reason I'm really going into this detail because before Joshua, when I first got started, brother, everything was scattered all over my garage, man. And I was thinking like, shit, did I forget something? And when I was driving off, we like the bubble machine, so I had to come back and get the bubble machine. And there was another time where I forgot not the bubble machine, but the bubble liquid, the actual the liquid itself. So
Yeah. The suds. Yeah.
yeah, so then people were like, David, don't you have a checklist? And at in the very beginning, I had a checklist, and then I had to revise that checklist. And then after the third time I had to revise that checklist, I said, screw this checklist, man. I'm gonna continue adding stuff to my production, and I'm gonna have to reprint a checklist every single week. So I thought to myself, there has to be a different way. And what happens too, man, it's muscle memory. Like since you were the director of your 360 booth production, you start learning all of your equipment. You know where it's located. You know how long it's going to take to charge. And that's another thing. Give yourself enough time to make sure that when you show up to these events, Joshua, all of your lights, all of your batteries, all of your power banks, your mobile hotspot, everything, including your phone, everything is charged to 100%.
Mobile hotspot. Do you
Yes.
think that's something? Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, so compartmentalize. So you have everything together, it's
Mhm.
organized so that
Yep.
when you go, you just load it up, get it ready, take it to your, okay.
So the reason you want to keep everything compartmentalized is because two things. One, in your home. Two, when you load up and when you unload. But when you get there and you open up one box, you know that entire box is going to be for this part of the process of setting up. And then so even when you get there, that still helps you because you know that if you have an assistant with you, you can tell them like that box has all the props. Go ahead, set up the table. In the prop container, you're gonna see the tablecloth and all the props and the inflatables. You go ahead and do this, and I'll go ahead and go on this end, and I'll get all the technical stuff done as far as the wiring, the synchronizing, and just the cables and everything else goes. So that's the beauty of having everything compartmentalized. And that's the biggest category is your props and your cables and your electronics in one box.
That's,
Um, and then you bought up the mobile hotspot, right?
no, I didn't put that on my list, but I'll
No.
add it.
So are you planning on having an iPad sharing station, or are you gonna wait after? Because the iPad is expensive, man. It's like a few $100s. And what I've been doing for almost every event for the last 3 or 4 events, Joshua, is I've been sending the client or the attendees their video right from my phone as soon as the rendering completes.
Nice.
But it is nice to have an iPad sharing station when you're really, really busy and you
Mhm.
want to keep that flow going. As soon as they get off, you can tell them in about a minute or two, your video is going to be uploaded to that iPad. So you can go ahead and airdrop it to your phone. And then you get the next people on the booth. Boom, boom. But like I said, for the last 3 to 4 events, I haven't really used that iPad sharing station. I
Is
mean,
that,
I do pull it out and I set it up, but sometimes too, there's like a disconnection. And this is what I mean by touch picks. Sometimes it does shit where it's like, come on, so and then of course there's ways that you can troubleshoot and get it going again and refresh it.
mhm.
But at that point, I'm already next to the attendee. I'm in front of my phone. I could just airdrop it to their phone instead of
Yeah.
going over to the iPad and doing all these uh little steps to try to refresh it and get it synchronized again.
So do you think that hotspot is essential to start?
If you get good coverage with because you're going to be using your iPhone, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not really fixated on getting an iPad sharing station and you rather take that money and invest it into a cold spark machine, which I would probably do,
Yeah.
then you don't need a mobile hotspot because you're not powering anything else. you already have your actual cellular data built into your cellular device.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't need that mobile hotspot. No, the answer is no. And if you are in an area where the service is really crappy, somewhere out in Texas, then what I would do too, Joshua, is who's your carrier?
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile? Me too, man. So what I do usually is I'll go on the T-Mobile map and I'll put in the client's address for the venue. And I can more or less now I know exactly what type of service I can expect, because on the T-Mobile coverage map, it shows you they're really good with LTE or they're really good with 5G. So that's just a little side note.
Yes. Okay. Cool. So we've talked about loading it up, getting everything ready. So now I guess set up, like once you get to the event, or like what about a wedding? Like, is there a difference? Like, what
Are
should I
you
expect?
is that your company name on your hat already, Joshua?
No, it's a complete coincidence, but the
Oh
company
shit.
that I
Okay.
work for they're called 360 Solutions. It's a
Okay.
marketing company.
Are you
Yeah.
gonna be incorporated? No?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
so this is separate. It's what I'm doing on my own. I haven't decided on a name yet, but
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool.
yeah.
Also, good thing you bring that up, because your name, as far as if you're just doing business as, or if you decide to just do an LLC, your name doesn't necessarily have to match exactly when you put it on Google, because on Google, what you're trying to do is you're trying to satisfy the algorithm. You're trying to the rank for that long tail keyword on Google. So it
Yeah.
can be, like I said in the past, the 360 photo booth, your city, and then dash your company name.
Yeah.
So just because what happens, what might end up happening, Joshua, say you register your business and your business name is called, give me a name, just throw a name out there for me.
Uh Central Texas 360 booth.
Okay, Central Texas 360 booth. And then what happens when you start scaling your business and you start offering White Castles, rodeos, Cold Spark, lighting, staging, and you start scaling, but you're stuck with that business the name that you registered.
Mhm.
It's like try to make it a little bit more universal. Uh, just a thought. That's something that happened to me, so I just thought I put that out there.
Yeah, for incorporating the business. That's a good
Yeah.
thought.
So okay, where are we at, man? I lost my train of thought when I was talking about the logo on your hat.
Yeah, no, you're good. We are like
Oh, setting
after
up, setting up,
after we've
setting up.
loaded everything, we're about to set up.
Okay, so the setting up, the first thing you want to do as soon as you get there, man, go ahead and open up. If your booth is inside of the pack, the zip bag, go ahead and take out your booth, connect it to either the power outlet or the portable battery. If you decide to go portable, it really adds flexibility to your business when it's portable. And those
Nice.
batteries are like, I think, $80. It's a good investment. They're known to last over 3 hours as well too. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pull out the 360 booth. You want to go ahead and you don't even need to connect the arm to it. Go ahead and connect it. Hit the controller to make sure that your booth is operating there and there's no frequency. What's it called? It's the interference. There you go. So make sure that your 360 booth is acknowledging the controller and that they're working together. That's the first thing,
Okay.
because there could be a situation where there's so much stuff going on, so many frequencies in that building, it might interfere with your 360 booth signal and your controller. That is like never really happens, but just in case.
Okay.
Okay. And most of the time, the supplier will send you two controllers, one as a backup. Sometimes you want to get one to your assistant. It just depends on how you're going to be rocking that out. Ask your supplier, hey, if for whatever reason one of my controllers stops working and it's not the battery, how do I sync it to my motor again? That way you have that notated with you on your phone or on a piece of paper where you're going to keep those controllers, just to see if maybe you need to reprogram those controllers to your motor. So that's the first thing you want to pull out. I stopped using the external screen. That would be the next step, is synchronizing my phone to the Apple TV. But because, like I said, TouchPix has really not shined for me in that area, and there's been a lot of interference, so I just stopped taking that external TV to events, and
Okay.
people don't really care. From a production standpoint of view, it is really nice for them to see themselves on the TV, and then you get those laughs and that look of satisfaction of how cool their video looked, and it's their first time. And that for me is a beautiful part. In fact, for me, that's probably my favorite part of the 360 booth event, is when they see themselves on that video with the effects. It's
Yeah.
always a guaranteed laugh or a smile, and try to capture those, Joshua. Try to have someone record their expression when they come around and they see the video. And I bet you, man, within one event, you'll get a bunch of that content of them just laughing and smiling. They're like, oh my God, girl, you look so good. Okay.
Nice. Okay.
You know, stuff like that. So uh, you want to capture those moments, because those moments as human beings are the
Mhm.
moments you really want to promote and market,
Yeah.
because they want that. Who doesn't want that?
I just spoke to my to a video guy on our team about about doing this, and he sounded like he wanted to do it with me. So he might help me with like get some high quality videos and photos out whenever we actually do our first event. So there might be some good content we can capture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about capturing the right moments at the right time with the right angles. And since he's already in that industry, he knows all about angles. So that your goal there, especially having that type of partner with that set of skills, man. You guys are gonna be, if that's the case, you guys are a double threat. That's crazy, man. That's
I'm excited. That's why I thought like this is such a good opportunity, because if we do the marketing right, I really and we get the experience done really well. Like I'm learning so much from you and your content. So this is super helpful. So thank you so much just for like offering your time up like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I take pleasure in pouring this stuff out, and I take even more pleasure when I realize that someone is actually applying what I'm putting down, because then I feel like, okay, cool. So people are actually running from it, and I mean running with it. And also, once you get those results and people message me and say, "Hey David, my wife and I have been watching your videos, and we already had 2 events, and if it wasn't for you, it was this." So when they share their victories with me, I I get the I get when you get chills, like goosebumps,
Yeah.
because you feel like God has used you as an instrument to help others. And
Yeah.
so because I'm a pretty spiritual dude, like that for me, like it just I get, if I'm feeling shitty at that second and I read something like that right away, it's like my frequency switches up, like, oh
it's
man,
it's
cool,
it's like
cool.
no other. It's like I'm in web design, obviously, and so not a lot of people like to do websites. Like it sucks, right? Like people don't like getting into it and building it and whatever, taking their time. So when I come in as a professional, I'm like, oh, don't worry, I'll take care of your website for you. And they're like, thank you so much. And they see the final product. It's such a good feeling. Like you said, like yeah, like God's using me as an instrument
Yeah.
for this moment, and
Yeah, yeah,
that's
absolutely, brother. So, yeah, you could definitely relate just through your career and your type of line of work, how great it feels and fulfilling it could be. And so, going into this industry, you have to be a people's person. You have to be, your mind has to be like, how am I going to make this great? Because this is a big event for them. For you, it's like, as an operator, you're like, oh, just another booking. But if you go in there as as a director and a 360 booth owner with the mentality of like, I need to do better than I did last time,
mm,
then
yeah.
that's how you want to approach every event. Like, I need to outdo myself. I need to come hard. Like, if last event I got 2 reviews, this event hopefully I get 2 to 3 reviews on my Google page. So you have to start making small goals for yourself as an individual for all of these events. So the next thing, or you know what? Well, we're talking about it, Joshua. We're just
Mhm.
talking about how they see the rendered product, and then they get happy, and they laugh and they point at the screen on your phone, and
Yeah.
they're gonna be thanking you right away. It's like, for whatever reason, they thank you, like, oh my God, thank you. It's like, and then for me, it's like, well, all I had to really do is hit start. But it's truly more than that, because you put the entire production together, and you thought of a business and you ran with it, and now because of that, they get to have that video for the rest of their lives. So at that point, what you want to do, Joshua, is be like, hey, would you guys be interested in helping us with the review? That'd be really cool, just like that.
Nice.
And because their emotions are at a high, right away they'll be like, of course. And
Yeah.
that's when you pull out your QR code that'll take them directly to your business Google page, where they can just leave a 5-star review.
Nice. That's smart.
And you need to use this tactic, because you're going to have, I don't want to say the market is saturated yet, But in your area, I do know that there's a lot of 360 booth activity going on,
Yeah.
which is great because at the same time that helps spread the word that the 360 booth is a cool thing to have at your party. It's just
Yeah.
about now them finding you first and over the phone or online, and you providing that good experience over the phone or online, and then showing up and doing even a better job right there and then as an operator. So if you're not going to use the external screen, Joshua,
Mhm.
then forget this step. However, do you want me to move forward as if you did have an external screen? You're probably going to have, okay,
Yeah,
sweet.
and not now, but like I think eventually I will, because I like that idea that they can see their video right then and there.
Okay, so if you're gonna get an external screen in the future, so you set up the external screen, the TV, and an Apple TV. So there, I have my regular TV monitor, and then I have the Apple TV synchronized, not synchronized, but connected to it with an HDMI cable to the TV. And so now I have a power outlet from the TV and a power outlet coming from the Apple TV,
Mhm.
and I have those two connected to what's called an anchor. I don't know if you've seen that video on the YouTube channel.
The
It's
yeah, it's like a
like a
stand that
big
you
power
buy.
bank. Oh,
Yeah,
what? I'm sorry.
it's the stand for the TV and the.
No, that's the tripod. That's the
Oh,
tripod.
sorry.
What I'm
Oh,
referring to is you're gonna need something to power up your TV and your Apple TV.
gotcha.
So you want to keep the Apple TV at least 15 feet away or as close as possible to your phone. So it doesn't constantly drop that signal because it's mirroring everything on your phone and it's spinning fast. So if
And you
it's too
said-
far, you might lose that connection, which is another challenge. And for me, now that I'm in a different situation, is it's all about synchronizing all of your effects together. And so the more things you have to synchronize, the harder and more complex it is where things are going to be placed. And so if you end up taking an external monitor along with your Apple TV, what you're
Mhm.
going to end up doing is either you're going to have those connected to the wall outlet, and keep in mind that when you show up to an event, there's only certain places that are going to have power outlets.
Yeah.
So you're definitely going to need an extension cable with multiple outlets, like a power strip. But what I was doing with the Apple TV and the TV itself, I was connecting it to a power bank. It's called the Anchor 512. And any video that you go visit, I'll have that. I have the link on there, Joshua. But it's a big power bank that'll keep your battery, I'm sorry, your TV and your Apple TV powered for over 3 hours as well. And so
Nice.
you can roll with that, and that way you can move your tripod, like you can move it anywhere, right? Versus it just being stuck to the wall to an outlet. Okay,
Nice.
so that covers the TV. So once that's powered on, you want to walk over to your phone, and you want to make sure that you click the mirror effect, because by then the Apple TV should be turned on, so your phone should acknowledge it, and then
Mhm.
you should be able to see whatever's going on your phone on that TV. So that's simple, but I want to throw that in there just in case.
Okay.
Okay, so now that
Um,
go ahead, go ahead.
no, yeah, okay. So yeah, you have the power. Hold on. Just make sure I have it. The power bank, the Anchor 512.
Yes.
Then you set up the TV and the Apple TV.
Mhm.
And then okay. Good.
Cool. So when you buy that Apple TV, you can just sync it when you're in the comfort of your home. You can sync it to your phone, so that way your phone sees that there's an Apple TV. So that when you go into an event, you don't need to do any of that because your phone's already saved. They're already communicating with each other.
Nice.
Okay, so that's that. And from this point now is setting up your lights, your RGB lights. It's a circle. So basically here, I want to make this as practical as possible. So you have you have a spear shape, it's a 360 booth. If you
Yeah.
get 4 RGB lights, Joshua, just put them on opposite ends of each other. It'll look like a target sign.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that way,
underneath it or on top, like where the
so
lights.
you're, so did you get a chance to check out that video I made where it was outdoors at an airport?
No.
No, I'm gonna share my screen really fast here. See, man, if I didn't document all of this, it'd be hard for me to use this as reference. So I'm so glad that, I took the steps because now I can share certain things 360 booth vlog number 3, I think it is. Yeah, this one right here. YouTube's paying me money now, so they put ads in front of my.
Nice.
Yeah.
Another additional revenue.
Yeah, I used the money that I made from YouTube to buy a 360 booth for a lucky winner. You know, I told myself that I would do that, and that's where I ended up getting the money from.
That's awesome.
Yes. So let's go ahead and give you a good visual here. All right, here we go. There is one where I do a slow-mo. Okay. Okay, cool. So here's the platform right here, Joshua.
Yeah.
Let me know if you can see it. You see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
So this is going to be the platform, and the lights that you see right here, if you can see, it's kind of angled, looking down like this, like from here to here, versus people that just set them up looking straight ahead, and the lights coming up here, shooting this way.
Okay.
What you want to do is you want to bring them up as high as possible, but be careful that it's not too high to a point where you feel like it's too flimsy.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that the base is nice and wide, and go ahead and extend it out, and then have it angled looking down at the people here. Because that's people ask me, David, how do you get your videos so crisp and so clear? And I tell them 3 simple things. 1, make sure your iPhone lens isn't oily. It's clean. You'd be surprised, man. A lot of people like myself have oily fingers. And 1 quick touch of the lens is like it's blurry already.
Yep.
So make sure your lenses are clean, guys. Make sure you have proper lighting, and make sure that your phone, your iPhone settings, not so much, not just your touch pick settings, but your iPhone settings on the camera are set to 60 frames per second.
Nice. Yep.
60 frames per second, and then go ahead and make that change to touch picks, where it gives you the chance to do the mid quality, and then the high quality, and then the ultra high quality. I do high quality, just as a heads up, Joshua. So that's how you want to place your lights. You want to make sure that everyone around this booth is going to have a light hitting them. That way, all the way around, you get that great lighting. So with 4 RGB lights, you're good to go. If you get 5, that's cool, because then you can have one by the prop table, illuminating the prop table if it's like in a dark setting. So 4 is great. 5 is even better. But like I said in the very beginning, we're trying to watch our budget. So for these lights should be good. And these lights right here, Joshua, if you notice, they're wire free. They have an integrated battery in here. I believe it's 2600 millihertz. So these will last. These lights will last you over 3 hours if you set them up correctly as far as settings go and brightness levels.
Nice. Okay. And do you charge them, or do you replace the batteries?
No, these have an integrated battery. So these go connected back home in my garage. What I'll do is I have a power strip with a bunch of USB. And so what I'll do is I'll charge all these simultaneously. And these I'll take, I want to say, almost 3 hours to fully charge.
Nice.
Yeah, they don't charge fast, but at least this is something that you can time before your event. And then this U200 light right on here, I think out of all of them, the U200 light takes the longest to charge. But it also will last you over 3 hours, depending on what the type of brightness you have it on.
Does that light come with the booth?
The one that comes with the booth is a very standard ring light, which you could start with, and it runs off of you would have to connect a power bank to it. So this little area right here, there's a little pouch in here. In this little pouch, you can put a power bank, and that power bank can have 2 outlets, one to go to your phone and one that's going to go to your ring light. And that's another thing is when you are doing events outdoors, you have to have your brightness on your phone all the way up because of the glare. So that eats up your battery. So it's nice to have a cable going to your phone to keep that phone charged. Yeah.
Okay. I do have to get going here in a little bit, but this has been super helpful. Just even walking me through just like the setup has been super helpful. Do you think, is there anything kind of last minute that you'd say would be super helpful for me to just get started?
Just, put yourself in your client's shoes. like when before you say something or before you react, always think, how is this going to affect our temporary relationship? Because while you're there, you want them to, be happy, and also feel free to communicate anything they want to do. If they have like something in mind and you can help them out with it, go ahead and help them out with it, as long as it doesn't put you in any danger or it just causes too much of a setback for you. And just have that open line of communication since the phone call, since the day they booked with you. Use a 360 booth contract, because that really relieves a lot of that going back and forth. But you said this, but you said that. No, everything is in the contract. So it takes two parties to agree, and that's what the contract does for you. It really kind of helps set the expectation. And while you're there, man, just have as much fun as you possibly can. Remember, you're a hype man too. So when people go on that 360 booth, man, hype them up, get them going, brother. And I think you'll be just fine, Joshua.
Awesome. Well, thank you, David. I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, man. It was a pleasure meeting you. Let's stay in touch.
All right.
All right,
Thanks,
take
David.
care.
Bye.
Peace.